Ever wondered how much money PewDiePie actually makes? That was the question that, over 10 years ago, grabbed the attention of viewers when a 15-year-old named James Stephen Donaldson streamed his first Call of Duty match. But let's be real, you didn't come here for PewDiePie. What you really want to know is, how much power is MrBeast racking up today? And trust me, you have no idea. Stick around until the end, because we're about to peel back the secret history of MrBeast. I'm going to show you facts you won't see in any other video, and what you discover at the end will blow your mind. First, let's clear up a key question. Did MrBeast really come from nothing, or has he been pulling the wool over our eyes all along? Origins. Jimmy was born into a middle-class family, but his childhood was far from calm. His mom's military-style discipline collided with his father's violent tendencies. The divorce in 2007 was so brutal that he claims he remembers nothing from his life before it. His mother explained it bluntly, "It's better this way." The 2008 financial crisis left Susan, his mom, bankrupt, working herself to exhaustion to feed her kids, and in that darkness, Jimmy made a choice, to escape poverty and bring joy back to his family. In 2012, at just 13, he discovered YouTube, but he didn't see it as a hobby or entertainment. He saw it as a weapon, the only tool capable of changing his fate. With the obsession of a mad scientist, he spent between 20,000 and 30,000 hours studying the algorithm, thumbnails, titles, retention patterns. Through trial and error, he experimented endlessly, counting to 100,000 on camera, reading the entire dictionary, revealing how much PewDiePie earned. Absurd tests with one clear goal: learning what made a video go viral. Years passed, and though he made progress, he didn't take off, until his mom gave him an ultimatum: college or the streets. Jimmy agreed. But only on paper. 2 weeks later, he quit secretly, pretending to attend classes while locking himself in his car to edit videos. That was the start of a dangerous game, all or nothing, a game that risked his health, his future, and could lead to either ruin or glory. The takeoff. Years of obsession and sacrifice left deep scars. At 15, Jimmy got a diagnosis that felt like a sentence: Crohn's disease, a chronic and debilitating torment. But instead of giving up, he chose to put his pain in perspective and said, "There are people with conditions far worse than mine." Extreme stunts sparked irresistible curiosity. His first big break came with a $5,000 sponsorship. Jimmy doubled it to $10,000 and, against all expectations, didn't keep it. He gave it all to a homeless man, filming every second. The gesture went viral and revealed a foundational truth: generosity could be the lever of an unstoppable business. This is how his defining philosophy was born: give to grow, create risky, original ideas to go viral while helping people go viral to maximize returns, use those returns to make even more compelling content, and generate even more revenue. Like the day he gave his mom a $100,000 check to pay off her mortgage, calling it the happiest day of my life. He reinvested all the revenue, starting limitless growth. But Jimmy, always obsessed with metrics and infinite growth, realized that giving just for the sake of giving wasn't enough. That's when the challenges began, contests where the prize wasn't cash anymore, but Lamborghinis, yachts, even private islands. When tangible items lost appeal, he upped the ante, funding surgeries so people could see or hear for the first time. Always raising the stakes, the impact was transformative. And controversial. We could debate for hours his true intentions, hero or villain. But the strategy worked, and with it came criticism. He was accused of turning vulnerability into spectacle, of profiting from human suffering. His generosity was labeled poverty porn. A stark example: meet Canyon's animation of a grotesque MrBeast offering a dying man the choice between a heart transplant or a Tesla. But controversy didn't stop him. It only fueled his fame. Even so, his personal bank account stayed tiny, because he kept insisting, money isn't the goal, it's just the fuel. What mattered was growth, impact, scale, and he decided to raise the stakes once more. But could he push it further? And if he could, would it be too risky? Would this be his road to glory or total disaster? Philanthropy 2.0. Jimmy went from giving money to challenging people for prizes, from cash to incredible possessions, and finally, to the intangible, the priceless, restoring health. What could be bigger than that? Jimmy had the answer: society, and beyond that, the planet. Hence, Philanthropy 2.0. Team Trees planted 20 million trees, Team Seas removed 15 million kilos of trash, and Team Water built 100 wells in Africa. Here comes a regular YouTuber with a camera and a microphone, proving that with just a few dollars, you can change entire communities, something NGOs, governments, and international organizations hadn't achieved in decades. The inevitable question: why? The brutally simple answer: if hunger, thirst, and poverty vanished tomorrow, these organizations would vanish too, along with their million-dollar budgets, luxury offices, outrageous salaries, and five-star hotels. Their endless reports, summits, seminars, empty speeches about resilience and sustainability would all be exposed as pointless. The problem was never money, it was willpower. The system doesn't want real solutions because misery is one of the most profitable businesses in the world, rivaled only by arms and drug trafficking. Initiatives that promise to solve problems but actually perpetuate them. Jimmy's approach is smarter. He's never denied that it's also a business. And where's the benefit? In the criticisms of digital colonialism, before his healing operations and team projects, his channel's growth seemed stalled. His North American and European audience was nearly saturated. He needed to expand to societies that didn't know him yet. Multiple language channels weren't enough. So came the idea: global philanthropy for a global audience. The choice of locations for the healing operations and team projects wasn't just generosity, it was strategy. Africa, for example, represents almost 1.6 billion potential viewers, about 20% of the world's population. The plan worked brilliantly: 40 million subs in 2020, 60 millions in 2021, 120 millions in 2022, 220 millions in 2023, 280 millions in 2024, and 440 millions today. Anyone else might have stopped. Many would have cashed in their fame and fortune and retired comfortably. But Jimmy isn't like everyone else, and his growth doesn't end here. The Mr. Beast model breaks conventional rules. 1. A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. What we're taught to value is safe, he flips. Reinvesting everything now to aim for future growth is key to infinite expansion. 2. Don't do it for the applause. In his model, likes and virality aren't side effects, they're strategic fuel. 3. Money is power. Saving money for yourself isn't the priority. Even if his bank account hit zero, Jimmy has something far more valuable: the power to get resources on demand. An idea, a video, and companies scramble to fund it. In his world, money isn't the goal, it's a byproduct of power. Mr. Beast raised the stakes again, venturing into new business models, though not everything went as planned. The power of illusion. When people call Jimmy a YouTuber, it's technically true. The screen illusion presents him as a carefree 27-year-old, half crazy, half friendly, always smiling, in shorts and a Street Fighter tee. But behind the scenes, Mr. Beast is much bigger, the face of a machine with hundreds of employees, millions of followers, and global influence dependent solely on himself. Stick around, because the rabbit hole goes deep. His investments? Current, a fintech for young users; Creative Juice, financial tools for creators; Jelly Smack, helping creators expand across platforms; co-owner of Vid Summit. He consolidated content through his production company, Mr. Beast LLC. Then came Mr. Beast Burger, via virtual dining concepts by Robert Earl, owner of Planet Hollywood; Lunchly, with KSI and Logan Paul, including Prime Drinks; Feastables Chocolates with Jim Murray, ex-PepsiCo exec. Doesn't that remind you of Steve Jobs? Mr. Beast Lab, toys and merch, and View Stats, YouTube Analytics. There's also Beast Philanthropy, supporting team projects, and the Jimmy Fund for Emergencies, all under Beast Industries Holding. And metrics? That's his obsession. Hold on, because the numbers are wild. Mr. Beast LLC, signed with Amazon MGM for Beast Games. Let's see: Breaking Bad, Season 5, $56 million, Squid Game, Season 2, $69 million, Game of Thrones, Season 8, $90 million, Beast Games, Season 1, $100 million. Staff? Roughly, 350 at the production company, another 350 across other ventures, and over 1,000 including philanthropy volunteers. Beast Industries is valued by Alpha Wave Global at $5 billion. For context, that puts it in the S&P Mid-Cap 400, above companies like Hasbro, Abercrombie, Motorola, Autodesk, TripAdvisor, and the New York Times. Globally, 1/3 of countries have GDPs under $5 billion, so Beast Industries is worth more than GPD of 1 in 3 countries. Subscribers? Insane, 441 millions on the main channel, 677 millions across all channels. Almost every country has fewer people than that, except India, 1.45 billions, and China, 1.41 billions. Amid rumors Disney might buy his empire, Jimmy said he wants to be the Disney of Gen Z. Can he do it? Remember, for him, YouTube was never just entertainment, it's a growth engine. Some call it sustainable growth, they call it infinite expansion. And as we glimpse his power, let's paraphrase Uncle Ben: with great power comes great responsibility. Stick around, Because Mr. Beast's path hasn't been easy, and he's faced challenges that tested his reputation, business, and life. Conflict management, scandals, criticism, and mistakes. Jimmy started out with his close friend Chris Tyson, who after 2023 went through a gender transition, becoming Ava Chris Tyson. In 2024, Ava faced accusations of grooming or online sexual harassment of minors. Jimmy's response was quick and decisive. He immediately cut ties and removed Ava from any involvement with Mr. Beast. Another controversy hit with Mr. Beast Burger. There were complaints about poor quality burgers. Jimmy issued a public apology, took legal action against the supplier that also supposed pulling the product from the market. Lunchly also faced criticism. Some called it junk food for kids, and there were even reports of mold. In this case, Jimmy decided to keep the product and not respond to the complaints. Beast Games faced complaints from participants claiming inhumane treatment and rigged contests. Jimmy responded publicly, "We've contacted 97% of the 2,000 attendees directly, launched a formal review of the process, and taken steps to learn from this experience." We could spend hours talking about the times he risked his life in extreme challenges, former employees or contestants who've trashed him, whether his smile is fake, if helping people in need is exploitation, or even legal disputes over advertising his chocolates in historical sites. But so far, Jimmy has come out on top of every controversy. And here's what's clear, there's a pattern in how he handles conflict. His method is simple, clean, and efficient. First, he forms a team to evaluate whether the accusations are objective. Then he acts based on that analysis. 1. Objective, verifiable accusations. Quick and decisive action. No half measures. If mistakes occur, acknowledge them. Direct communication with those involved, apologies, and a strategy for improvement. Learning from your mistakes is key. 2. Subjective or unverifiable accusations. Simply ignore them. Avoid drama and the clout chase. This approach has kept his fame intact and his reputation strong, despite all the controversies he's faced. Because Jimmy knows something many forget, prestige is key. It's one of the most important factors that lets you maintain power and keep growing. Paradigm shift, from the postmodernism to the digitalism. Does it even make sense to keep growing after everything he's already achieved? Stay tuned, because what comes next reveals how far Mr. Beast's infinite growth strategy can take him. Now we're talking about power. Real, new power. Here's the thing, society has lost faith in traditional politics. Leaders from both the right and the left are falling, and extreme populism promises change, but the results are lukewarm. These movements try to fit into an outdated, decaying system shaped by the Industrial Revolution, heir to modernism, which since the 1970s has been giving way to postmodernism. Yet even postmodernism hasn't produced a solid new reference point. It's stuck in the past, clinging to structures that are fighting harder and harder to survive. We see it in education, money, politics, but something's changing. A new paradigm is being born, with all its growing pains. Economic and social crises make it obvious. Manufacturing companies, once kings, have ceded ground to tech giants: Ford, Toyota, GM, Chrysler, Nissan, Honda, Volkswagen. Big names from traditional industry are now shadows compared to digital and service giants. Startups and emerging companies seek safe investments, though even these operate within speculative systems that generate bubbles and global crises. Traditional education is changing too. Old professions are falling behind. The biggest leaders of today bet on leaving the educational system early. Think Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg. Today's true business leaders are tech-based: Apple, Microsoft, Meta, Uber, Airbnb, Alphabet, Google, YouTube, Tesla, Neuralink, SpaceX, Amazon, Netflix, OpenAI, companies combining capital, innovation, and smart algorithms, many powered by AI. Meanwhile, nation-states are losing power to these conglomerates. The economic system is changing as well. Oil is yielding to renewable energy. Even the old global monetary standard, the dollar, is losing influence. We've gone from cash to cards, and now blockchain dominates the exchange of information and value through crypto and tokens. The tokenization of the economy is a reality, and it's not just economics. Law and order are shifting with digital hyper-surveillance, cameras, mobile devices, algorithms that measure trustworthiness and assign rewards or punishments. The social credit system, already applied in China, is being tested in the West, and we all participate in it, often unknowingly. Who hasn't checked stars, likes, or reviews before buying a product or hiring a service? What does all this mean? A new ERA, a new empire, filling the power vacuum. The new global structure is here, and its logic isn't dictated by governments or central banks. It's driven by technology, data, and digital power. China knows this, while the West seems stuck, decaying, watching its structures become obsolete. China is positioning itself as the next world power. It's no coincidence that TikTok dominates entertainment, Alibaba rules online shopping, DeepSeek breaks into AI, BYD competes head-to-head with Tesla, and Xiaomi and Huawei remain strong. It all fits a global shift. But here's the paradox: while the old Western empire falters, a single digital creator is building an unprecedented empire of influence. As noted, MrBeast's channels have nearly 700 million subscribers, and there's no sign of stopping. His growth is unstoppable. It's no coincidence that the biggest corporations and most influential figures in the West are betting on him now. MrBeast has even hinted at ambitions to lead the world's biggest economy. And leaders coming from entertainment is nothing new, from Ronald Reagan to Donald Trump, including Charlton Heston and Arnold Schwarzenegger. All they prove that the leap from showbiz to leadership is possible. If MrBeast keeps growing, by 2033, when he hits 35, the minimum age to run for US president, his subscribers could surpass the population of any country, even China. Think about it. In this new era, money is no longer the measure of power. Influence is what counts. MrBeast has shown that the game today isn't measured in dollars, but in followers, reach, and the ability to move masses. His power places him on the level of governments and global institutions. And we're not talking about countries, we're talking about a global community that transcends borders, ideologies, and political systems. Here, votes matter less than emotional loyalty. In this new system, leadership can't be political. It demands someone who understands algorithms, metrics, and exponential growth. You already know who fits perfectly. And as incredible as it sounds, citizen James Stephen Donaldson knows it all too well. And that, ladies and gentlemen, that is power, in capital letters.